What's happening? Back here in the studio again with my brother Leo. I'm Brady Steer. Got my football here. You got your roll of football on you?
It's on my bed over there. I don't
It's
want
on your
to
bed. Got this
get
for
up
a
and go get.
birthday present. It's childish, but also actually awesome.
It is awesome. It's the best gift I've ever received, I think.
That's saying something.
Yeah,
Hey, I bought you an Xbox when you were younger.
I guess that's true.
I love it. Yeah, this thing is fun. Obviously, I'm wearing different headphones today because my Bluetooth on my computer crapped out just before we started. So
Yep. Tech
now I
issues.
look like you. Just kidding. Yours looks nicer though. I think it's the color of the band here, and you can't really
Yeah,
see this too much actually, but
it's
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's just I don't know.
It is what it is. All right. Well, I know I'm just gonna start us off right away because I've been thinking about. I had this hot take years ago, and then it randomly came to me again. And there's different elements to it. So I want you to, challenge it, ask some questions, dive deep into it. But my hot take is the statement, you always do what you want.
Mm,
I think when people
I've
hear
heard you
that, the
say that
initial
before.
reaction is like, no, that's not true. And I'll just give a little bit of a take, but then we can go back and forth. You always do what you want. What actually, you know what'd be better? I want to hear your take first because I've already thought about it. So if I
Okay,
say you always do what you want, what do you think?
so I've definitely heard you say that before. I remember you saying that a while ago. Um, I think it's definitely true in a sense, but like I think, oh gosh, how would I word
Ah,
it this? It's you always do what you want in the sense of like wanting to like gosh, I can't even word it because you like there's want and there's need obviously.
uh,
And so people say like, "Oh, I don't want to go to work." And then that take would be like, "But you want to go to work because you want to provide for your family, you want to earn money." Right?
right,
So in
right.
that sense, I believe it's true, but I think they'd also prefer to do something else to get money. I think they prefer to win the lottery to earn money for their family. So I think it's true that you always do what you want of what's like available to you, but you don't always do what you want in things that aren't available.
Mhm. I think the operative word is like the first two, maybe operative words like you do, like you always do.
Hmm.
It's not, it's not you don't control what's done to you. Then there's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like safety, security, food, love, things like that, where
Hmm.
it's like you, you're the human element has to cover the needs first, and it's what you as a human actually want, and so your desires may be for something bigger, deeper, longer over there. But what you actually want is what's right in front of you. It's like, well, I don't want to be hungry, and so then I want to eat. And to your point about the work one, maybe I don't want to work if you don't like your job. You actually do want to work because you want the benefits that come from it. Therefore, you actually are doing what you want.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think right. So, like what you said is a good first comeback, but then there's a comeback to that. Other things is like, well, I don't. I mean, we could go so many directions with this. Let's say somebody, let's go. Somebody's in like a slave camp,
Yeah.
whatever encampment. So I don't want to do this, but like, it's silly because even the little things you do, you actually want it more than dying, or you want it more than
Yeah.
getting beaten or getting
Yeah.
ridiculed or whatever. And then some people that do sacrifice their lives for things, it's like they actually, like Christian people, they'll say like, "Oh, I actually want heaven more than I want to live. So you actually still are doing what you want, even though you don't want to die, but you
Hmm.
would actually want to die more than doing X thing. So at the end of the day, it's like maybe as a parent, I don't want to deal with my child being rough right now, but you actually do want that more than just abandoning them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when you think about it like that, everything in life comes down to a choice, you
Yes,
know?
that was my next point.
So you so yes, you do want to do these things, and it's easy in like your head to want better things or want different things, but it also just because you want something else doesn't mean you don't also want to be doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
So in that sense, I do agree with you that like you are
Okay.
always choosing what you want to do.
And this idea came back up to me again recently, partly random, but the two things that were common denominator was one, Advent season right now that we're in. So it's like, it's a waiting time, it's a preparation time. And also, my wife and I were decorating for Christmas, and we have a lot of decorations and we love it. And there's just more and more coming. But I was thinking, I actually don't mind the decorating process, and that's going to be my next point after this point. But it's like we both love it when it is decorated, but we don't necessarily always like the process. And so it's like, well, I
Hmm.
don't want to spend 2 whole days decorating, but I do want it to be decorated. Therefore, I actually do want to spend that time because I want it to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some things, like a lot of video games, I feel like are like this. You want to go through the process of upgrading and all that, but you don't necessarily want to complete the game because then you don't have anything left,
Mhm.
you know? So I think it goes both ways. Um,
There we go. So that's a good that's a good transition. So then it's like, okay, we actually do enjoy decorating, but why? And so my question is, how can you make the process more enjoyable
mhm.
if it's something that you don't want, but you have to do it to get to the thing, therefore you do want it,
Yeah.
whatever. But for us, okay, what makes I'm reflecting on this. All right, why do we enjoy decorating? One, it's a seasonal thing. It's like this time of year we're doing it, it's fun, it's after Thanksgiving. Um, Two, we always put music on.
Mhm.
Then we like dress up in like Christmas pajamas or like fun Christmas outfits or whatever. We listen to music. We usually eat like snacks throughout the day while we're doing it. And then we also are hopeful that it's going to look good at the end. And then every once in a while, and this year too, we had a couple new things we were doing. So like we bought the nativity set for outside. We put lights on the outside of our house for the first time, like on the roof. So it's just like, okay, the process was actually fun even though it took a lot of time
Mhm.
because of like what made it. So it made me think about, all right, what are other things that I like the end result, like working out or the kid being happy and going down to bed easily,
Yeah.
that I can make the process for those things more fun.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. You can either choose to make the process like more efficient and as fast as possible. A lot of time, I feel like that leads to lazy work or you don't do anything new. You just like do it to do it, sort of, and then you see the end result, and it's like, oh, this is cool. This is what we've seen this whole time, or this is what I expected. Or you can make it really fun and like go out of your way to try to make the process fun and creative, and then you'll come up with new things to do or new decorations you like seeing, a new workout you like to try. Um, whether you do it with other people or like you said, you put music on, all those things go into that process of making it more fun.
I'm somebody that likes adventure. When I think of adventure, I think of like hiking a mountain
Hmm.
or something. But it's like, okay, how can you add adventure into your everyday life? And I think it's trying a new thing, trying it in a different way. Or like even me, I know I can't handle spicy foods, but I remember one time when um you remember Bailey back in the day brought the Carolina Reapers. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm gonna try one just because like that's fun. It's an adventure. I'm not gonna like how it's gonna feel, but I'm gonna like that I tried it.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, just and with that, I'm kind of going fast through it, but then my thought that came from that was talking about waiting, how much time we actually spend waiting. And there's a lot of stats out there. You can like look up the average person with the average lifespan, with the average time to wait for things. It's like you wait at red lights for like 6 months of your whole life. Like
Yeah.
if it was all in one time, it's like you just sit at a red light and you're waiting, or commuting to things, or just waiting for your spouse to get ready, or for dinner to get ready, or if you're at a restaurant. And so it made me think about, okay, how can I enjoy that process better? How can I take advantage and use that waiting time as a positive? And there's something to be said about like it's fine to just like rest. You don't need to be like hyperactive all the time.
Hmm.
But if you realize how much time like, oh, I'm just waiting. And I remember when I got married before we had a kid, my wife, the husbands are stereotypically waiting on the wives for things. So I remember what I did, I spent my time waiting was I bought the Catan app on my phone, and I actually used most of my waiting time playing Catan, a game I liked. And so then waiting wasn't like a drag, like, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But I'd actually use that to like play a game I enjoyed.
Yeah. I think the first step for like waiting is just figuring out all the times you actually wait on things. Because you could
A lot.
probably, if you like go through a whole day and intentionally track down every time you're waiting, you probably can save like 2 hours by incorporating other stuff in that
Hmm.
waiting, whether it's for fun and relaxation, or you don't want to relax, so you do some extra work in that time, or you
Hmm.
even do something a little bit longer because you realize you don't need to stop 10 minutes short. You could stop 3 minutes short and still have time to get to the spot or do this
So
thing.
I want to do even better at it, and I want to become more second nature. Things I do right now is one, I'll do something fun, right? So like
Mhm.
Catan on the phone, or I remember back in the day when we played ESO more often, it would be like, I have 10 minutes, I'll just like get on to do the writing speed stuff
Yeah.
to get a daily thing like real quick, because I'm not going to actually play, but it'll take 5 minutes and that
Yeah.
got beneficial. So it's that. I'll do every once in a while, I'll do like little rehab workouts. I have like a lot of physical little injuries right now. So like doing rehab, or, hey, let's just do some core or do some push-ups or do some wall sits or something like that. It's like, I got 5 minutes, might as well just do a little bit. And the third one is just, in my nature with work and everything too, it's just like, well, this would be a good time to pray for just like 5 minutes. I have nothing going on. Like, this is perfect. It's actually very convenient. A lot of times praying isn't convenient, which it's not meant to be, but it's
Hmm.
also like, hey, if it's convenient, then let's take advantage of this time. So
Yeah.
those are things that I do better, and just recognizing like, okay, I always do what I want. Right, just going down the whole thing. I always do what I want. It's the argument, because you always have choices, and you're like, well, I'd rather have this than that. Therefore, I'm doing what I want, even if it's not what I ultimately want. And then a lot of times when you're doing that, you have to go through things that you don't want, and that in the desirous sense. But it's okay. How do you make those things more enjoyable? So to do those things, and then realizing that a lot of life is spent waiting for the next big thing that you're excited for, the thing that you really want. And so, how am I using my waiting time more productively, if you will? So, that was just kind of my reflective thought process this past week.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That's good.
So, so yeah,
I,
that's honestly that's what I got.
I had one comment about, you mentioned the Christmas decorations. You know
Yeah.
how, um, you saw the new like snowman set we got for our front yard?
Oh, yeah.
So we put it up and it's great, whatever. The first night it was up, or the second night it was up, I go to turn the lights on outside and it didn't turn on. And I'm like, what the heck happened? So I go look at the cord. The cord split. It's like it either got stepped on by like a mailman that walked through there.
Wait,
Because it
wait,
was
wait, like an anchor cord or like the actual electrical
the
cord?
electrical cord. Um, and it split. So it's either a mailman or like a rabbit, but it was really clean cut. So the first thought was like, does someone come and not like our snowman that come and cut it? um, but anyways, so
Sucks.
I tried fixing it. I don't do electrical stuff because electricity scares me, but this was um off the plug and everything, so it was safe, completely fine. I'm sure most things are safe. I don't know enough about it, so
Right,
it kind
right.
of worries me. But so I tried fixing it, and it didn't work the first time. And then I finally figured it out, and I split the wires, and I connected the wires, and now it works again. So I feel very proud of myself for
Hey,
fixing my first ever electrical thing.
that's really cool. See, I
Yeah.
love that. And just based on our conversation, I'm like, you probably didn't want to deal with that, but you wanted them to work. And then you
Yeah.
took the time and you made it happen. And
Yeah.
now there's a benefit. You're like, hey, I
And
actually
I've
can maybe do something else.
in to the creativity thing in the process, I've never worked with electricity like I said, but
Mhm.
I wanted to try it this time. So I'm like, this seems simple enough. I think I can do this. And now it's like feels good, and like, oh, I can try other smaller projects. We still have that vent hood that needs to go up. Maybe I can figure that out. You know, things like that.
The my daughter, she we found these like fun twinkling lights that I think that we maybe were at Christmas last year, 2 years ago. They light up to the sound of the music, like based on the beat. And we found them in the box again. Wife put batteries in them, and then all of a sudden it wasn't working. I go over, she tore it out of like the box, so there's like it's like snapped there. And to your point, I actually tried to like rewire things, but it was torn too close to where it like glues into the
Oh,
silicone in there,
yeah.
and I couldn't get it. But it's funny because I actually had an electrical fix. I was trying to a little bit different situation than yours, but
Yeah.
mine was non-fixable, and I just those are things you just hang up when you're a parent sometimes. Like, well,
Yeah.
I want to fix it, but now I don't want to deal with it anymore, and it doesn't work. So, peace of mind, I'm just gonna throw it away.
Yeah. All right. For my topic today, so it's been a little bit since we talked about the NFL,
Oh, going
and I've been
back.
and I've been kind of yeah, I've been kind of hanging on this because I knew it would be a bigger conversation later in the season. Um, what are the Vikings right now? 4-9.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
so I don't even know what week it is. That's how checked out I am right now. Um,
Yeah.
but my topic is, when are people going to learn to be patient with rookies, not just quarterbacks, whatever, just all rookies? Why do people
Never.
jump like jump on these rookies? There's two things that happen. You're CJ Stroud or Jaden Daniels, and you get called an elite top 5 quarterback after your first season. And then in Jaden Daniels' case, he's injured, so I'm not going to put too much on him. He hasn't played that good when he's healthy. In CJ Stroud, he has not been as good as his rookie season. Again, his team's injured. There's all these factors, right? Which leads later in the conversation, we'll lead into it
Right.
as well. But you
Right.
have those people that like, oh, these are top 5 quarterbacks. They're gonna be the next Mahomes, blah blah blah. You know, crazy take after one season. I don't love that. And then you have I can easily talk about JJ McCarthy, which I'll bring up. I'll bring up the Vikings in a little bit because that's who I know most about. But I want to talk about Caleb Williams. He got hated so much in the draft, and I get it's because he's popular and number one pick, but so many people were saying this guy's an automatic bust. He's going to the Bears. He's not going to do anything. He got so much hate, a lot of it for like painting his nails and crying to his mom and stuff like that. Like, whatever. And now, and he wasn't that great his rookie season. He was fine. He didn't turn the ball over much, which was good, but
He was a rookie.
yeah. And like you'd want him to be better as a number one pick, I guess. But this year, they're now the 1 seed, and he's leading his team to the playoffs. Like, right there, he's took this astronomical jump. He's not like, I wouldn't put him in any like sort of MVP conversation this year, but he's way better than he was as a rookie after one off season in the NFL. And that's like a quick example. Honestly, Drake May's the same way. He is an MVP candidate, maybe the favorite right now. Um, Depending on if you care about like the schedules and stuff.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and he wasn't that great his rookie year because he was a rookie. It's just like all these factors, and then you have the obvious ones in Peyton Manning terrible rookie year. What he threw, like, it was like 23
Record.
touchdowns to 28 interceptions, and they went like 3-13. Like
Yep.
that, like if he played today, he would get he would get
It flamed.
talked off the face of the earth in on social media,
Yeah.
and it's just so bad. And then he's obviously top 3 quarterback of all time. So that's a great example. And then the one a lot of people compare to players now is Josh Allen. He's recent, and he
Yeah.
was bad for like 3 years. He didn't break out till like halfway through.
Yeah. Probably his third year he broke out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's those types of players. Like we have all this information, um, and no one like understands it. I feel like they're all like, it's specifically the social media, I think, is the big part of it. It's like the instant
Yeah.
gratification. It's like, why do we why do we want rookies out of the league after 6 games, or after one
Well, I
kind of
think
mediocre season?
to answer the question, or at least my thoughts on it, the problem is because there have been a couple people that have been really good out of the gate. And so it's basically like, all right, you've seen that it's possible. Now I want that myself. To your point, it's not realistic because the high majority aren't good out of the gate. And the ones that are usually take a step back before they take a step forward again. And most people take time
Mhm.
to develop, especially in the history of the NFL, before they're great. But it's like, okay, why do people do this? It's because that person did it, so you should do it too, else you suck. It's like, well, that's different situation, different coaches, different coordinators, different talent around the team,
Mhm.
different injury history, different college growing up. So, but that's just my thoughts. It's like it. People are probably because they've seen it once. Now everything has to be that good.
Yeah, but to the same point, I've seen like way more consistent and better quarterback development when you like let them not be so good and then let them develop over time to become better.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that I know of besides like Patrick Mahomes is like the only example that was really good his first year starting and then was consistently really good after that. Like
But
you
right,
think of
what's
all
different about
the
Patrick Mahomes that people forget about is that he didn't play his first year, even though he was a
yeah,
rookie. So it's
yeah.
like he didn't actually play as a rookie, and that's another
Hmm.
element you got to throw into there.
Yeah, and then like
You could
Justin
argue, sorry
Herbert,
to interrupt you. It's like you could argue that Patrick Mahomes was not good as a rookie because he wasn't even good enough to play.
yeah, I guess
So
that's
it's
true.
like depends on what somebody's like he was good right away. It's like he was good when he played, but they actually waited for him to play because he wasn't good enough right away.
Hmm. Yeah, he had to learn. He was a bit of a gunslinger in college. He is in the NFL, but I'm sure he had to learn different mechanics and decision making, playbook, all that stuff that goes into it. And you look at it's a good segue into JJ McCarthy, who's obviously the next Patrick Mahomes. I'm just joking. Um, I'm not going to say anything like that. Um, but JJ McCarthy said, and Kevin O'Connell said all this stuff that there's like mechanics that are a lot different than what he had in college, that he had to learn. But then he got injured, so he couldn't even practice
Mhm.
changing to NFL mechanics. And I didn't even think about that when he was injured. Like, I'm like, oh, he can't get practice reps. I get that part of it for like 10 months or whatever. But having to change mechanics, which an NFL quarterback can learn that. It's not like, oh, he shouldn't be in the NFL because he has to learn different mechanics. There's a lot of quarterbacks that need to do that. Um, but so he's really is a rookie in that sense because he lost his physical like ability to practice those things as a rookie and took a year off. So he's really a rookie even more than a rookie if you think about it, because you can't, like, it would be hard taking a whole year off of football and not learning things other than like the playbook, like mental things. Like
They
that
went to
is
do some of those virtual training things. I know
challenging.
it's not the same, but he tried. Yeah, I mean, everybody agrees. I would say 99% of people. There's always that 1% that are
Hmm.
either rage baity or just actually stupid. Everybody agrees that this is his actual rookie season just because of the injuries.
Yeah.
He didn't get to do anything last year. Um, but the part with him, and I don't know if we're going too off topic here, is that now because of the injuries and a couple more that he's had and the where the team is at, he's 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 unfortunately in that, like, you got one more shot, else you're going to be a journeyman backup or not in the league.
Yeah. I do agree that injuries are scary in a sense if it keeps happening. Like that's why Joe Burrow isn't in the top three conversation all the time. He'll be in there
Yeah.
if he's healthy for a full season, but he's just not there because him not being healthy is why their team's not in the playoff race right now. You know?
Have you heard the argument too, where if they drafted Penny Sewell instead of Jamar Chase, then actually Joe Burrow would not be hurt as much because his line would be better. Therefore, it's like, well,
Yeah.
you'll never know, but it's one of those.
Yeah.
Hey, if he's not out there, that's the reason why they haven't been as good. Is a logical answer until it's like, well, you should just make sure he's out there.
If there was like a specific long-term injury that was caused by a left tackle or a right tackle, I would agree to that. But he's been injured multiple times, so I don't think that's a great argument.
Yeah, probably not
I
anymore.
I think off topic, I think tackles are more important than a good receiver. You know, as someone who has Justin Jefferson on our team, I could argue Christian Darrisaw is more important for a winning team. You know,
Yeah, receivers
and he's
are
also
too dependent on the quarterback and the rest of the team.
yeah. Um, but back to the point about the rookies, and now we'll talk more about the Vikings and JJ McCarthy. It's I agree his injuries are an issue. Hopefully they don't still be an issue. And I also agree that he needs to play better. You know, I'm not saying, oh, he's all these excuses, he's fine, whatever. He obviously needs to be better. Um, but the fact that he isn't good doesn't mean they should just move off him and he's whatever, he sucks, blah, blah, blah. The fact that
Back
he
to your
isn't,
original point about people
yeah,
freaking out about rookies right away.
yeah, the fact that he isn't good, and it's, you know, all this blame gets put on him. And I know you know how I feel about this. If you watch more than one Vikings game this season, the whole team, the whole offense specifically, and most of the special teams, at least, is like they're not playing with anything. Justin Jefferson, yes, he's being affected by quarterback play. If you just like watch him play, he's also having his worst season. You know, I remember in the first game, he it wasn't all his fault, right? But he slipped a couple times. He People were like running into each other on like motions. Um, and like that's not on JJ McCarthy. You know, he threw that pick six, which was, you know, that's on him because it's a pick six. But like all this stuff, we were bad for 3 quarters. And from what I saw, JJ McCarthy wasn't really that bad in that first game. And then he came back and won in the fourth quarter.
With the
But then,
pressure that he got in the first half, it was
yeah,
crazy. He was running around.
yeah, like it's still a super impressive win, especially to me. If you go back and look at the film, it's even more impressive because from what I said, he actually played
Mhm.
pretty well with what he had given to him that game, and then came back and won on the road in the division. All this stuff, like that's a great first win against a team that's now 9-3 or 10-3,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and then there's like the Packers game, which people are putting on him, but he just from a development standpoint, yes, he held onto the ball long multiple times. One of his picks, he got like hit in the arm from our backup tackle side. It's like
Yep.
no one puts those on quarterbacks. I've heard the argument, well, he should be more aware. You can't, like, he's thrown it to what I assume is an open receiver, hopefully, right? That part I'm gonna assume. and
Yeah.
then and then the backup tackle lets him get hit in the arm after 2 seconds. Like, that's not his fault there. And he didn't have many yards, he didn't have a good rating, whatever. The Vikings also are leading, like, what, the past decade or 20 years in drop rate. And then I've heard that be put on McCarthy. Like, I get you don't like the guy, but like, but like
That's the ball.
if who's a good example that everyone who's a quarterback that everybody loves, like it's like no hate. Like, let's
I
say,
don't know if there's any quarterback like that. Honestly, you could argue
yeah,
Matthew Stafford.
yeah, like Stafford or like maybe Jaden Daniels or CJ
Yeah,
Stroud,
sure,
the
sure.
quarterbacks that get hyped up as rookies because people all want them to be the next best thing.
Uh-huh.
If their team led in drop rate for the past like 20 years, you would not hear the end of it. People
Yeah.
would use that excuse over and over, and why he's even way better than what he looks like.
Right.
So
Right.
it's completely unfair to JJ McCarthy to just flat out say he sucks and he's not an NFL quarterback. Obviously, it's unfair. Um, if
Well,
this
two.
happens next year, that's a whole different story because
Right.
that's
Right.
time given to him. You know,
Give him some time.
you give him the rest of this season, but most importantly, I think, is the whole offseason healthy would be huge for him.
Hmm.
Um, and then hopefully the rest of the team gets out of whatever funk they're in as well. I
He
don't.
needs to show promise. He needs to show improvement. He needs to have offseason. I mean, regardless of what happens this year, he's going to be in a quarterback battle next offseason.
Mhm.
Hopefully, he's good enough to win it, and hopefully, the rest of it is history. What I think people need to realize is two things can be true at the same time. And I have a couple of things going through my head. I'll
Yeah.
just use this one that if you look at stats, stats tell a significant amount of the story, which is true, and it's also does not show the whole story, which is also true. So
Hmm.
if you see stats that are so bad, there's no way they're so bad that it's all fine. But also when people see like I gotten annoyed not just with like McCarthy, but other people that like, oh, but he threw 3 picks. I'm like, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
I was like, one of them, the receiver slipped, so that wasn't his fault. Second one, he got hit in the elbow when he threw it, so that wasn't his fault. He actually only threw one. And also, one of the touchdowns he threw got called back. So people be like, one touchdown, 3 interception game. I was like, well, obviously, every quarterback has to deal with that, all the stats. But when you see that, it's like, well, if it was up to just the quarterback, which is what we're talking about, he
Hmm.
actually threw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, not 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions
Yeah.
because we can watch the game. So the stats overall are true, but in a game by game basis, they do not tell the whole story.
Yeah. I think stats without context is a very, I should say, using stats without context is a very casual football take. A lot of them don't watch the games and or just use stats, like, or even worse, they just jump on a bandwagon with knowing absolutely nothing. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's super fun for some reason to hate on this quarterback or hate on this player. Doesn't have to be JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams, whatever. Just like, wow, it's so fun to hate on this person because I have nothing better to do with my life, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
Mm-hmm.
feels like.
Well, that's
But
the other part too. You talk about like Twitter or like some people. It reminds me of the Joker with Batman. It's like, what is he doing? He's like, he just likes to see chaos. He just likes to see the world burn. Like some people just want to get reactions out of people, and when it
yeah.
comes to online, it's even worse because people have different names or different handles, so you don't actually know who they are in general, even if you did. So it's like people
Yeah.
are just saying stuff to get comments. It's like they're
Hmm.
not even, and some of them probably aren't even real people, honestly.
Yeah. I will say, back to the rookie stuff and moving off quarterbacks now, I think we covered JJ McCarthy pretty well. You know, a lot
Yeah.
plays into it. I want to talk about the other first round pick from last year, Dallas Turner. people,
Mm.
a lot of Vikings fans, like they're not used to like a lot of good draft picks, I guess, recently, even though I think
Mhm.
it's been a little bit better than people are saying. Um, but with Dallas Turner, he didn't play a lot his rookie year. He was also behind Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel, who were super good last year and
Two
still
Pro
good.
Bowlers,
Yeah, two all pro. They're both
all
all pro
pros.
last year. Um, but now Dallas Turner's had more playing time because of Grenard's injury and some of Van Ginkel's injury at the beginning of the season. But he's has one of the best 3 game stretches by an edge rusher in like, or at least by a young edge rusher in Vikings history, something like that.
Yeah.
He has like 12 pressures, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in the past 3 games. And the only other, there's like one other player that had that in a 3 game stretch. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Jared Allen.
Jared Allen, Alan Page.
Yeah, it was something like that. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean Dallas Turner's going to be, something like that. But you can see the
Yeah, that's
development
fun.
after a year and a half or close to 2 years. You can see the development. If he
I see what you're saying.
continues this next year, he could easily be playing at an elite status of edge rusher. His third
Mhm.
year complete breakout. It's very common for these edge rushers and just people in general. He'll also probably gain weight, which I know was his big concern, is he was kind of small coming out of college for like an edge
Mhm.
rusher position. So I just wanted to mention him, kind of the opposite of McCarthy, how he's like clearly showing development. And I hope he gets the recognition he deserves. And I hope he continues that development. But he's been healthy pretty much and had all this time to develop. So it would be great if JJ McCarthy follows that trend and
But
shows significant improvements going into next year. I'm not going to be too worried if he's still kind of like meh this year. Um, I'm sure he's going to have 1 or 2 better games because we play worse teams too at the end of the year. But I'm really anxious to see how next season goes. I also think it would be a huge mistake, and a lot of bad organizations do this, to have one bad season and then trade your best player, which people are talking about for whatever reason, and then fire all the coaches, get a new quarterback. Like, do you think that's what good teams do? I've never seen it. So
yeah, not for an immediate turnaround at least.
yeah, like you
Because
can
right, it's obviously what's the alternative was what people have to remember.
you can flip
Like
the whole team around after like maybe 2 really bad seasons at minimum. You try other things before that. Like, one bad season does not mean that you're gonna be bad for the next 10 years. You know, the Lions
what's funny.
the Lions might not make the playoffs this year, which would be crazy, but they'd be
That'd be crazy.
ridiculous to not run it back, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
it's just not how you manage a football team. Not that I would be a great manager, but that part of it I would think I'd be okay at.
I think the counter to that would be, I'm not saying I feel this way. I'm not saying I feel like we should do it, at least not right now. Um, the counter to that is the goal is to like win a championship or at least be right there in the top four every year.
Mhm.
And so if you're going to be middling all the time, then you just got to blow it up and make something happen. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you're 5-12 or you're 8-9, you're not good enough either way. So might as well. I would rather be 4-12 for 4-13 for a couple of years, and then eventually be the opposite of that.
Yeah, that part I agree with, and the fact that the Vikings haven't won a playoff game under Kevin O'Connell, that I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of people are saying this team should be better and should be developing to get to that point. His only other season,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
his
Should.
only other season that was a non-success was we had like 5 quarterbacks go through there.
Very injury
So
riddled. And JJ was out for at least 4 games of that year too. Josiah Jefferson.
I think he was out for like 8 games, and he still hit
I'd
1,000
say
yards.
yeah. He had a hammy
Mhm.
for yeah, it might have been 8. It was definitely 5 or 6, but
Yeah.
it might have been like 8 or 9. Yeah.
And that was the first year of Brian Flores, where defense wasn't quite as good as it is now either. So it's
Yeah. Just get them together.
so there's
But
not.
you're kind of making the point, just to like tie in a thread. You're kind of like a little too much expectation too early for quarterbacks is typical. But you
Mhm.
kind of see the inverse of it with someone like Dallas Turner,
That was true.
where he's got like some time to develop with it. It makes me even think about how it's like stereotypically, right? You don't want your first 1, 2, 3 years of a quarterback getting different coordinators,
Mhm.
and then you get a weird situation where hey, the Patriots changed their coaching coordinator, and Drake May's doing just fine up to an MVP caliber season. It's like, but again, if somebody now expects every time a new quarterback and a coordinator to come together to be great right away, it's unreasonable because that only happens a rare amount of time.
Yeah.
That's not the standard.
Mhm. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that JJ McCarthy will for sure be the franchise quarterback, but I am saying you
What's your biggest
need
hope in him?
like
I interrupted you. I'm sorry. What's your biggest hope for JJ? Like, my answer to the question is my biggest hope for JJ is his character and his age. Like, he's got the work ethic.
like what he has that.
Like what he has. Like, he's so young, but like if he was Bo Nix's age doing this, I'd be like, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I also like Bo Nix coming out of the draft because I was like, guys, he's old, but
I was
quarterbacks
gonna.
last till they're 40 nowadays anyway. So who cares if they're 26?
Yeah.
But I think him being so young, I actually have a lot of hope because I'm like, dude, he could be in college still.
Yeah. It's his second year in the league technically, but he's still the youngest quarterback in the league. So that
Yeah.
obviously is like, oh, that's great. I'd rather. I get the point of like not leaving college too early. At the same time, I'd rather a quarterback have an extra year of NFL coaching than college coaching. I feel like that would make him a bit better.
Not going to happen with NIL now.
Yeah.
I make enough money staying in college. So
And the real quick thing about Bo Nix, which is funny, is that I was going to bring it up. Like he's definitely more safe, like a safe pick, and he's been pretty good. He has a really good defense and team around him. But he's been obviously good enough to win games for them. Whether you think he's elite is another story. I'm not going to go into that part. But that's a reason you pick someone like JJ over Bo Nix is I would see a lot more potential in someone 5 years younger out the draft or 4 years younger out the draft, who at least in college was very similar, if not had like more athletic intangibles, if that makes sense. And so
yeah, athletic wise. Yeah.
if I get like the rookie contract stuff, but if in 2 years JJ McCarthy's playing like Bo Nix, as good as Bo Nix, then that draft pick in my mind would be better. Again, it's only a couple of years and they play for a long time, but that's like the reason you pick someone like that.
Not to cut you off on anything else, I got to get going.
Yeah,
So we're going to wrap up
that's
this episode.
everything.
Yeah, sweet. We'll see you next time. I think next time we're going to try to get a family member on here to join us. So hopefully it happens. So something to look forward to. But all right, guys, peace.